What did you think about our meeting with Carolina? Or
Yeah, well, it was very, I think, reaffirming to just have an outside eye and hear ways that she was responding to it.
Mhm.
Just on a very basic level, it's always nice, when you get that first bit of feedback on a project, and
Yeah.
you're not sure whether you're just in your own little head, and
Mhm.
kind of dispelled that. So that was nice.
Yeah, it just was kind of nice to meet her and like hear more about like what she does. And because I feel like people like her are immigration lawyers. I They don't cross my path anymore. Like that's sort of in my past. Like, and so I feel it was kind of unique to meet somebody, who's an artist, but also like has this bigger goal with like helping people. And so, yeah, that was like really. But I guess we should talk about this taunting task we have now, which is like coming up with a title. And basically our next big deadline is just like sending them an image, right, that kind of describes our work.
Yeah, so I think probably in order, it's like images and title.
Should we decide on the pictures? We can sort of do that.
Yeah,
Let's just send them the Vimeo link and then the 15 photos, and they can choose what they want to use.
sure.
And
Do you want to brainstorm the title now, and then I guess we have until September 1st. We have at least a couple days, but we can definitely.
yeah, I was like, I had only one title, but it's already like used probably gazillion times. And I was thinking something like along like brief encounters or something like that. Maybe it could also be like, even like, I don't know, coordinates or something like that. Like where
Mm.
are these clips taken? Or should I share my screen and just like start typing some stuff, like even if it's really stupid stuff that we come up with? It's
Yeah, let's
just to like kind of write it and look at it.
yeah, let's do it.
I said brief encounters or something like it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe
You're using the word channels a lot. Channels is kind of a good word.
it is. You're right.
What
I
else?
think that one has a lot of potential. Channels,
Yeah,
something channels, or
two channels.
yeah, side by side channels. Um, oh, I really like channels. I feel like it could be like channels, blah blah blah, or something. Channels. Is there another? I always like to look at. My favorite app is Thesaurus. I just use it like
Yeah.
daily. Channels. Spillway. Wow, never heard that.
Mm.
What about like brief channels or brief something else?
I'm trying to think about like all the different sort of touch points that the project has, and channels. I think that makes sense. The encounters make sense. But there's also something maybe about I don't know, about the juxtaposition or the two. I don't know, maybe there's something around like the dueling stereo kind of aspect of this. I don't know if there's something there to mine.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm reminded of in a way, it's a film I think we talked about the first time we spoke. It didn't even occur to me now, but maybe it was somewhere in our subconscious, was this film Chungking Express. And I was saying it's about people who live in the same apartment at different times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That they were kind of sharing a space, but never
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. And we're kind of doing a little bit of a digital version of that. I don't know,
Hmm.
just as food for thought. That's kind of come full circle in a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Or I guess we could also riff on like rooms, like I don't know. There's these like Zoom rooms that we're in,
oh
and
yeah.
the boxes are kind of like rooms.
Mm-hmm. Room something. So let me just write down some stuff. Hmm. Or we can sort of try to brainstorm before we talk again. I guess we have to talk in few days.
Yeah, maybe
uh,
you can both
play around with those
play
words
around,
maybe,
yeah, these ideas.
and then we can sort of, what's September 1st is
First is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Um,
Actually Tuesday, I will be in my I teach a class, but I'm in my studio for like from 12 to 1 or 12 to 2. So we could, I don't know if that time works for you, but that could be like a good time for
shall we?
me.
You want to talk around 12, and then we can finalize our idea and send it.
Yeah. All right. Um, waiting room, waiting for Godot, like waiting for,
Waiting for Alex to set up the Zoom call.
yeah. So yeah, let's just touch base on Tuesday, and then like by then I will have more material that I've uploaded too, and then we can maybe briefly talk about that or
Yeah,
also.
and stew over the title in the meantime.
All right.
Well, that was fun. We were using a different part of our brains,
I know
using
it's
language for the first
so so painful for me. I don't know. I agonize even writing an email. It's really difficult for me. It's like
yeah.
I'm yeah, I sometimes wonder if I have some kind of a dyslexia or something, but it's good, you know. I think it's interesting with writing, like where I come from, it's like you have to write in a very romantic, poetic way and very philosophical way, and you have to be very long-winded, and in America it's like all the writing, it's like you have to get good at writing like a Wikipedia page, like when you write an artist statement or when you
Yeah.
write a project proposal or grant proposal. It's all so technical and matter of fact. Um,
And is that
and I
how
had
the
to,
language it works, or is that just a custom around the language? Is the language
in
itself
Australia,
very poetic?
yeah, it is actually. It's like we have a lot of phrases that has to do with like nature and like things derived from nature, animals, and
Mm.
um, yeah, I think it is poetic. And we don't have like sex in our language. We don't have he or she. We don't have um, we don't have gender for inanimate objects either. And so it's everything is like when you're talking about a man or a woman, it's in the like you have to understand it in a context or by their name or something. But yeah, in US I had to teach myself, learn how to write, um, how in English you're supposed to write, and it was really, in some ways it's easy because it's sort of like every project statement, you kind of write it the same way, you just have to be, but it was hard, like you just cannot be like poetic at all. Like I feel like it's like people are like, no, this is confusing, we don't get it, it just was really weird that it's like, really, you don't get it.
Yeah, I sense a lot of parallels with. I mean, the way that you write it, like a screenplay, for instance, is like
Mm-hmm.
it's just basically kind of like more or less an outline or a blueprint, and you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to ultimately get to very poetic ideas, but you have to put it in the simplest possible language. And you can't write, how people are thinking. You can only write what you can film. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a very strange way of writing. It just is all about physical action, and then but it ends up being kind of a magical process where you sort of simply by filming the outside, you somehow get to the inside, and
Mm-hmm.
when it happens, it can be quite magical. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to just look at the page and be moved by it. So that's scary.
Right.
Like
Wow.
this doesn't feel like anything.
But do you
Um,
write a lot about like a lot of like, is it called character study, or do you write a lot of like the backstory? Like is that something what you do also? It's like you write about the psychology of the character, that whoever is reading the script can like easily access the character. Like that seems like kind of fun to like come up with, like,
yeah,
where they're from and like what happened to them or how
yeah.
did they get to this place.
Often it's very helpful and important at least as the writer, to know that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but a fraction of that, if any, really ends up in the
Mm.
screenplay because, and again, just the way that narrative film works is that it really just has to kind of just be moving forward all the time.
Mm.
Where people
Mm-hmm.
come from, you have to kind of reverse the flow of the story in a way to address where they come from.
Mm.
So it's kind of
Mm.
it's anti-suspenseful kind of by its nature. And a film, when it's really working, it's really keeping the audience asking what's going to happen next. Next, you care
Mm.
about what's going to happen in the future. So the word for it, the kind of the dirty word is that backstory can be exposition, and you're trying to have as
I
little
see.
exposition as possible. But it can also be very rich. But it can be very rich for you as the writer, and it also then, if you are carrying on to be the director as well, it's really good for you to know, what was this character's home life, what was the relationship to their parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That stuff is really valuable and can be really fun to kind of figure out.
Mm.
So
Mm.
going through all of that right now, just as we speak.
You are? I see. I just saw this movie. Do you know these? You probably know these directors, the Safdie brothers. Just watched their newest film, Uncut Gems, and I heard like an interview with them, and they were like, yeah, they had like, it took them, I think, like 10 years to make that movie or something, like just to like, get Adam Sandler or organize it. But yeah, they were saying how much backstory they had written about all the characters, and I was like, oh, I never like thought about that. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I thought like the director, like just as you film or shoot, you kind of give your actors some cues or something. But I guess I didn't think that how much you have to like build them up from birth in some way. It's like,
uh,
but so let's meet 12 on
12
Tuesday.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay, Alex, have a good
Cool.
weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.